Welcome to the Pin and Combination Podcast, College Edition. I'm KJ Pilcher with the Gazette, alongside my colleague, wrestling guru Dick Briggs. You wear a lot of hats when it comes to wrestling. Wrestler, coach, official, media member. What's been your favorite hat to wear?
Well, that's easy. I mean, I was a dad, for that
one.
for the dad, and it was easy because I had a son that was very into it and made it easy in that end of it, and his teammates were around him were real fun to be around as well. So that was probably my favorite, and then of course when you're out there yourself and you have full control, that was fun. But that was so long ago, it's hard to remember. So.
Well, we appreciate all that you've done over the years. And, of course, we got a lot to get into this week. Iowa State keeps rolling. We'll talk a little bit about their performance out at Vegas. UNI really impressive this weekend in Illinois, Southern Illinois, Edwardsville. Iowa sent some guys up to Wisconsin Parkside for an open up there. The Iowa women hosted Oklahoma State and Colorado Mesa for a fun double duel on Sunday. We'll also talk a little D2, D3 action. We'll have another blind ranking this week, which is kind of fun. We'll also look ahead at what's coming on for those D1 schools, and we'll break down kind of the D2, D3 weekends before and coming up. So we'll jump right into it. Let's start with Iowa State this week. Probably because they had the most notable performance going out to the Cliff Keen Las Vegas Invitational there, winning their second team title in 3 years out in Vegas, 4 champs, I believe. Things are rolling for Iowa State right now, aren't they?
Oh, they're in a great spot. Holy cow. And they didn't just win Cliff Keen. They almost doubled the score of the second place team, which was, I believe, was it Stanford? Let's see, Michigan, wasn't it?
Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan. And so I think, well, I actually had the score. Iowa State had 183.5, and Michigan had 99. So,
yeah,
geez, they romped.
That's crazy. I know there weren't some of the usual side, like Oklahoma State wasn't out there, Ohio State wasn't out there, probably because of National Duels Invitational, but that's still probably the top individual tournament here in the regular season, this first half of the year, before you get into like the Midlands and the scuffle and stuff. But that's, for them to come off the high of winning their first Cyhawk Series duel in 20 years, and they can, sometimes you'll have that emotional dip. They didn't really have that. They had 9 place winners, as we mentioned, the 4 champs, but there was no emotional letdown after that big win over Iowa.
No, and it's still a 30-team tournament. Another one that was not there was Northern Iowa, who's usually there. I think they took second last year behind Okie State, and those. You're right, though. I didn't dawn on me that those teams were members of that national dual tournament. So that makes total sense that they wouldn't be there. But Iowa State did romp. I was happy to see Evan Frost, who's really on a roll. This is his third trip to the finals and his first championship. He was second, and first the last 3 times there. So it's good for Frost at 133, Evan Frost. Yep. And I think Jacob was in the lineup as well for the first time this year. So,
yep, coming over, coming off being sick the week before. He placed pretty well. You mentioned Frost at 133 winning. Anthony Etchemandia continues to be dominant. He won at 141. Rocky Elam and then Younger Bastida, both with significant wins in the finals there. I believe, over All Americans or ranked um, individuals from Wyoming in the finals. You know, Rocky Elam and Bastida. They used to go head to head. Now they're shoulder to shoulder, right? It's a nice change in dynamic as far as those two going from battling each other and now making each other better.
Right. So Rocky Elam has a couple of top 10 wins already this year. And then Bastida, I think Bastida wrestled Christian Carroll, didn't he, in the finals?
Yes, who's at Wyoming now.
Right. And Christian Carroll was at Iowa State last year, and just it seemed like he didn't. I think it sounded like he's homesick, and so, or I don't know, who knows what happened, but he left the team in mid-season. I think even before Christmas break, and so that was interesting. It was 5-3 match, so that Christian Carroll, he's pretty good. He's wrestling that close with Bastida.
You know, just touching on Carroll a little bit. How many times have you seen somebody that just needed a change? Yeah. Whether it's a change of location, a change of weight, whatever it might be, you just see a difference, and maybe that's what Carroll needs. Obviously, he did really well for Wyoming this weekend and gave Bastida a good match. So maybe it's a good turnaround for Carroll being at Wyoming.
I think so too, and you're right. That happens more often than not, and I respect that. If it's just not working out, then make that change. And a lot of people are making changes for reasons I don't necessarily agree with these days. With NIL
right.
money and there's communications that's happening that aren't supposed to be happening, legality wise, and so I respect a kid that's, if he's struggling or whatever, whatever athlete it might be, then make that change if that's the case. So good for him. I'll wish him the best for sure. Now here's a little twist. I don't know if you caught this, KJ, with Evan Frost. Right? I'm going to see if I remember this right. Evan Frost received a medical forfeit in the finals against the number 2 ranked Caleb Larkin. There's 2 Larkins. Kyler Larkin. And he may not be number 2 ranked, but he's a high ranked wrestler
from Arizona State.
So he received a forfeit from Larkin, and then at 149, when it came to the 4th and 5th place, or the whatever match it was, 3rd and 4th place, or that Jacob Frost was in, so he forfeited back to the other Larkin. His 2 brothers, the one forfeited to the other, and then so I don't know.
Yeah,
there's some gamesmanship going on there, or what was going on, but
could be a little bit. Could be a little bit. I didn't see Larkin's previous Caleb Larkin's previous match that dropped him into the losers bracket. If he medically forfeited the one before that, or if it was a reaction to the previous one, or I guess it was the other way around, right? Jacob Frost medically forfeited to Larkin, and okay, so I guess that takes what I said out. But yeah, that is a little. It might have been some gamesmanship there as well.
Yeah, so I have no idea. Maybe they're hurt, maybe they're injured. I mean, it's a battle. It really is. But in the championship round, I think there were two forfeits of the 10 matches. One at 33, and then I don't remember where the other one was.
157. Actually, Vinny Zurban medically forfeited to Ty Waters of West Virginia.
Right. So you hate to see that in the finals. You want to see those matches. That's what you come for. The fans pay their money for, and and I get it if people are injured, but if you're doing a protection job, doggone it, don't do that, please.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Zurban had just beaten Cardenas of Stanford in the semifinal, 7-4. So, he's coming off that big semifinal win. Don't know what might have taken place or whatever, and led to the medical forfeit. You hope it doesn't have anything to do with the Big 12 stuff, since West Virginia is in their conference, and that's where Waters wrestles for. But just kind of anticlimactic ending for a good tournament for Zurban, who beat a ranked kid from Harvard, beat Cardenas, and then would have had a shot at the number one guy from West Virginia in the finals.
Yeah, that would have been fun. And Waters is ranked number one, like you said, and you're right. I think that's maybe part of the decision making. If Zurban's if he got dinged up or just even a little bit, they're probably going to see each other in a duel and in the Big 12 championship. So they'll definitely meet each other down the road. So, but still, you're disappointed if you're sitting in the stands hoping that match happens.
Yeah, one of the other performances, not one of the top ones, but I think a notable one, Aiden Riggins at 165 getting fourth. Connor Uten, I think, got hurt during the Iowa duel, but you've got depth where your number two guy steps in and gets fourth at a big tournament like that. I think that's kind of a good sign for Iowa State. Not only do they have a strong, balanced lineup, but they've also got some depth there in case you run into some snags or some issues during the season.
Right, and you see, we see that at 149 with Frost and
Johnson,
and yeah, Panero Johnson, right, and so lots of depth in those middleweights for sure. And I don't know that Riggins, I don't know that's 165. Maybe not even at 49 either. So there may be some wrestle offs or some opportunities for wrestlers to earn that with throughout competition, earn that varsity spot.
Very much so. Iowa State's off until January 21st when they head to the collegiate duels down in Nashville, Tennessee. Let's see, they'll face Ohio State. That's a big one here in a couple weeks for them. And then I think Lehigh is the other school that they'll face down there on the 21st of the month. But right now, Ohio State's 2, Iowa State's 3 in the latest NWCA rankings. Penn State's number 1 for like the 74th straight week, I think it said in Jason Bryant's release. And then Iowa at number 4, UNI 15th. And that's a good transition to point out. UNI had a nice weekend at the Cougar Clash hosted by Southern Illinois Edwardsville. 3 champs. I believe Wyatt Volker, Ryder Downey, and who is the third champ there?
Corey Land
at was it 33 or 41?
33.
Okay, so he's down at 33. Wrestled really well.
Right. And this was, I think you said this was an add-on tournament or a filler tournament since they missed that earlier tournament out east.
I think so. I think that since they missed the collegiate duels, I think this got added. It might have been on their destination for some JV guys. I know they sent some up to the Jim Cook Open that we'll talk about a little bit here in a second from the Iowa standpoint. But I think that this got added to replace that collegiate duels in November that they weren't able to travel to.
Yeah, and that's nice to be able to do that. And they did. They were first, 190 points, and they were second place was Oklahoma State. I don't believe it was Oklahoma State's number 1 team, but it was a real strong group of wrestlers there. They were at 187. Illinois was there, 157. Missouri was there, 135 and fourth, and I think there are 8 teams total, but 3 champs and interesting. Ryder Downey and Wyatt Volker both beat number 8th ranked wrestlers to win that title. Downey beat Scholes from Illinois 11-2, majored him, and then Volker beat Luffman from Illinois 8-5. So nice wins by those wrestlers.
Yeah, and especially with Volker making that move up to heavyweight, I think that's a significant win for him to put up a couple takedowns and win 8-5 against Luffman, who's an established heavyweight. That's pretty impressive. And Downey, I don't think a lot's been really talked about how he's moved up as well. No, he was probably cutting a lot to get to 157 last season, but he's made that transition and he was dominant. 3 major decisions this last weekend. So, big on his part. And one other performance of note that I thought was pretty interesting. And of course, I had a mistake. I got to say this in my wrestling weekend. I had Corey Land listed at 133. He's at 41. Julian Farber placed 4th at 133 for UNI. But the performance that really maybe turned some heads, Garrett Rinkin, the Nashville Plainfield, the former Nashville Plainfield prep, got 2nd at 133. He beat 2 Oklahoma State wrestlers, lost to Ronnie Ramirez in the finals. Ramirez ranked 13 in one of the national polls. Rinkin beat, 2024 NCAA champion Richie Figueroa 10-9. Remember, Figueroa beat Drake Ayala in the finals. And he's ranked number 20. And him and Ramirez must be battling for a spot there. And then he also beat Marcel Lopez. If you remember, Lopez was a 4-time state champ at New London who now wrestles at SIU Edwardsville. So Garrett Rinkin with a really impressive showing at the Cougar Clash.
Wow, that's a deep weight. Jeez, 133. So, with all those guys in there. So yeah, nice. I saw that as well. Nice job for Rankin.
Corey Land is somebody that really intrigues me. He's somebody that they were really, really high on. I know they were expecting him maybe to make an impact last year, and then he got hurt, and they lost his services, and now he's back, stepping in, where Carol Happel was for 4 years. Is he a wild card for this team? Is he somebody that can make a lot of noise by the time March comes around?
I think so, and I'm not sure it's necessarily a wild card. I think he is starting to maybe rustle to his expectations, like you said. And, those kind of guys have it in their mind that, it's not an upset. It's, what do you mean upset? They'll get mad at you for hearing that. And that's the motivation that, that keeps those guys rolling. So, we saw that at Iowa State. Who was it that pulled the upset in the duel? Iowa duel said, "What do you mean?" I was mad on it. Talked to some guy in the Casey's that said, "Good luck." Yeah, Gaitan, right? Yeah. So that motivates those wrestlers. So anyway, so I think I don't know Land at all. But I'm guessing that's the kind of guy he is, that he's finally wrestling up to the expectations, and not only just the coaches and the fans, but his own expectations. So, one other note here, I found this interesting, KJ. I'm kind of going off on a little tangent here, but the 8th place team out of 8 at this tournament was Little Rock.
Really?
Little Rock, right? So, is that an example of, and they scored 35.5 points. Is that an example of the NIL cannibalism that happens? Because they have two All-Americans right on their team, and now they're on Iowa's team. Did Iowa gobble them up, and with that NIL? And now here's Little Rock, who I'm sure probably doesn't have any NIL, and maybe I'm not even sure if they have their full number of scholarships. And they create a couple All-Americans and they get gobbled up in it. So it's kind of a sad note there. Sorry.
No, I agree fully. I mean, it's hard not to take a look at that. right now with the way things are, and the difference that those two people could make for a program like Little Rock is huge. And we're in a state now where the haves are able to, with their extra resources, they're just, the rich are going to get richer and the poor are going to get poorer, and there's no end in sight.
And the scary part is with those teams like Little Rock that created those All-Americans and did such a good job of coaching and achieving that level and that status, it goes away. Does the administration look at that and go, well, we can't sustain a program if that's going to happen, sort of thing. We're not in a developmental program, so to speak. So are those types of programs going to go away, and is it going to hurt wrestling and other sports as well?
Yeah. And I think a little bit too, and I think of UNI softball. They've had some absolute studs. Maya Dodge comes to mind, Alex Papillo, who have been outstanding and have played a year or two at UNI and really grown, and then they end up going to Missouri and they end up going to Alabama once they're really established and ready to make that next jump. And, programs like that just kind of, there's not much we can do. We just keep doing what we're doing, and we'll keep building the next one that comes through. And they kind of know that they might be a feeder to some other programs with if people develop so far. I mean, it's kind of sad, and that with wrestling. I mean, the Iowas, the Oklahoma States, the Penn States are just gonna keep reaping the rewards of NIL.
Right. And if I'm a head coach, say I'm a head coach of sport, whatever, and I become the new head coach. So my first hire, let's say it's football. So I've got, I don't know how many coaches, 10, 12, 15, however many coaches are on staff. So my first hire, am I going to hire a coach that's a good technician and good type of coach there? Or am I going to hire the guy that is the scout that can look across the nation and become the guy that's looking for NIL athletes, or maybe good athletes, and enticing them into the NIL? And you got to know that that's happening. But, with some principles or whatever certifications that shouldn't. Anyway, so my point is that, so if I'm a head coach, I'm looking for that guy that can bring great athletes into the school, and then I'll maybe look for the coach that can coach them. You know what I'm saying? It's just a whole different priority. And you see coaches that are leaving their sports and leaving the business. We saw it was the Kansas State, Keelman. Am I saying?
Yep.
Kleiman. Recently retired. Kleiman, yeah. And, I'm sure you're going to see more of that. I mean, there's obviously others, but it's just sad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go off on that tangent.
Oh, that's okay. And I also point out, too, that, Iowa State, look with Iowa State and Northern Colorado. Steve-O Pauline at 125 and Vinny Zerban at 157, two All-Americans there that have made a big impact for Iowa State, too. So, yeah, there's a few programs that are kind of dealing with that right now. Makes you appreciate the Parker Hawkeyes of the world that stay true to their those other programs when they could have chased other opportunities and maybe cash.
Right. Anyway, so I'm sorry to get on that tangent, but it's hard not to. I mean, that's where we're at, and that actually, KJ, maybe I'm a little early on this, but remember that thought when we get to the teeing off with Briggs.
Okay. All right. So we'll just mention that UNI, they have a couple duels coming up. They host Missouri on Sunday at the McLeod Center. That's number 14 versus number 15. So that should be a good one there on Sunday, starting, I believe, at 1 p.m. some of the Panthers were up at the Jim Cook Open, where Iowa sent some wrestlers, not their full lineup, but they had a few individuals up there, and 4 of them ended up winning titles. 125, Keon Hernandez got first. Cale Peterson at 141, also first place. Harvey Luddington at 197 won a title for Iowa. But the one that really stands out, Gabe Arnold at 184. He's somebody that, that's a national qualifier going to an open tournament. You almost kind of wonder a little bit if this is maybe penance for like the summer, not a punishment, but just, there was a thought of him leaving, and then he ended up staying before, and depending on who you ask, some say he was going to leave, some say he was dismissed. I think the verbiage is kind of cloudy on what exactly transpired, but we've seen him really be kind of a team player a little bit. Maybe he's just not getting down to 174 yet, but he's doing all the right things right now, and going to the Jim Cook Open and coming away with a title shows that he's dialed in, I would say.
Yep, and we got to know him a little bit as a prep.
Yep.
And it seems like a great, doing all the right things, and someone that we really pull for, and we don't know what's going on in the practice room or anything like that, but they're certainly putting him out on the mat and trying to develop him, and good for him. So KJ, I don't know if you caught this, but Iowa's next competition is in Hannibal, Missouri. They'll wrestle on Friday. They'll wrestle University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. And there's an Iowa connection. Did you know that with Chattanooga? With the head coach?
No, I'm oblivious to it. Kyle
Okay,
Rochelle?
So the connection comes all the way to the Nation. We interviewed this person last year. We had him on our show. So the head coach, Kyle Rochelle, is the son-in-law of Tim Johnson.
Oh, okay. All right.
There you go. And then Iowa wrestles after Chattanooga. They'll wrestle Utah Valley at 8:30 p.m. So I imagine there'll be some Iowa fans that'll travel down to Hannibal to see that.
Oh, I bet. We had Iowa wrestling media availability yesterday on Tuesday. Kind of interesting. You got the normal rhetoric of, hey, it's important because it's the next date, that kind of stuff. But also, Tom Brand's kind of mentioned that, hey, this is a chance to solidify the lineup. To get an answer to some questions of who wants the spot. Now, the interesting thing about that is there's only 2 weight classes that are either or. One of them is heavyweight with Ben Keeter and Easton Fleshman, and I think that's pretty set. That's Keeter's weight. But the only other one is 157 with Jordan Williams and Victor Voinovich III, both listed in the probable lineup. So I think you can connect the dots that this might be an opportunity for each guy to have a chance to emerge as a front runner, and that's the one weight that they're looking for an answer and looking for somebody to really step up to solidify that lineup for Iowa.
Right, and I would agree that neither one has so far yet. We obviously know what happened with Williams in the Iowa State duel, and then Voinovich had a couple of opportunities early on, and I don't know that he really stood out. So you're right. They're looking. I mean, the coaches are giving either one of them, I think, opportunities right now. So we'll see who grabs on and starts to run with it.
So that is Friday. Like you mentioned, Hannibal, Missouri. Journeyman Wrestling's Uncivil War. Journeyman Wrestling's this is like the second year they've done it. I think Iowa went down and wrestled Army in Princeton last year. So the second year for that. Chattanooga's 3-1 right now. Utah Valley's 2-1. So that'll be Iowa's last competition before the Soldier Salute the first weekend in January. So pretty long break in competition between this and Iowa's next opportunity to get on the map. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yep. So
we're indifferent.
I think it's good. It's a long season. So I think it's all right to see a break there, and they'll still be competing, not competing. They'll be practicing and doing that sort of thing. But it's almost a 5-month season, right? Kind of October to March or November to March.
Almost 6.
Yeah, almost 6. So yeah, so I break is fine. It gets long. I mean, those guys are not just wrestlers; they're college students, and of course the weight. Maintaining the weight is always tough on the body and mind.
Before we touch on D2 and D3 wrestling really quick, do you want to mention Iowa wrestled Oklahoma State and Colorado Mesa, won 2 duels on the women's side on Sunday. If you get a chance, go watch the suplex that Kennedy Blades hit against Oklahoma State. One of those wow moves. Very impressive, but Iowa wrestled really well. It's good to see Oklahoma State. It's just a club right now, but that's going to be a team on the horizon. Of course, their club beat Colorado Mesa, which is ranked 5th, a very good women's program. So some fun things transpired there Sunday at Carter Hawkeye Arena. But you have some topics to touch on here.
Yeah.
Ready for teeing it up with Briggsy.
Right. So just one comment on that suplex. I call it a suplex. The suplex was her back arch is incredible. I mean, it's like it's just so to see her do that. It's such a wow moment. So okay.
It's a poster like arch.
Right. Tina Briggs. So, yes, yeah, good. That's a good description. Okay, so we've been discussing and dreading the ramifications of the NIL and the transfer portal for a few years now in the penny combination. So this week, another major issue in college sports raised its ugly head, and that is the 3 universities have declined invitations to play in bowl games, in football bowl games: Notre Dame, Iowa State, and Kansas State. And I know that the 2 Iowa State and Kansas State were fined $500,000 by the Big 12. And as I understand it, all of the bowl money goes into one pool and then gets divvied up between the schools. Am I correct there? So
I think so.
If that's the case, I think those 2 schools should be eliminated from that money. Otherwise, it's like you get fined $500,000, but here's $500,000. You're part of the pool for Big 12's. Whatever, so whatever. You know what I'm saying there?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
They should not only should they be $500,000, but also be denied that money.
Sure.
That's just my thought. I feel bad for the non-NIL athletes, the non-scholarship athletes, the band members, the cheerleaders, the student body and faculty, the bowl organizers and advertisers, the boosters, the alumni, the ISU fans, and many, many more that I'm probably missing, that would have loved to have seen Iowa State in a pretty decent football bowl game, I think, don't you?
Yeah.
And so finally with Notre Dame, honestly, it just looks childish on your part. It's like, we're not in the playoffs, we're not going to play that. So
yeah, take their ball and go home.
Yeah, that's me teeing it off, and I'm done. I'll watch my bowl games and enjoy them.
Do you have a blind ranking?
Okay, let's have some fun.
I'm ready to be put on the hot seat for this.
So I did All right. Well, no wrong answer, KJ, and it's going to be it's a fun one. So rank these top 5 holiday movies, not knowing what's without knowing what's coming next. Okay.
All right.
All right. So number 1, and you get 1 through 5 for those that are watching. So the first movie is It's a Wonderful Life.
Ooh. I'm gonna put it at 4.
Dang,
Angel gets its wings.
Well, number 4. Okay, the angel just got its wings. All right, next one, Elf.
Oh man. I just don't know what you have coming up here. Because I like the silliness ones. There are 2 that are really my favorite that you haven't mentioned yet. You know what? People are gonna make fun of me. I'm gonna put it at 5.
5 it is. Okay.
Put it at 5.
Remember, I said holiday movies, so you might not have seen this one coming at you. But Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh wow! Okay, so you threw a Thanksgiving one. I'll have to put that at number 3 then.
Okay, and Die Hard.
Oh, that's not a holiday. Sorry, I'm on the. It's not a Christmas movie bandwagon on that one, so that's got to go number 2. Can't put that at 1. So I'm stuck at number 1 with this last one.
Number 2 it is. All right, here we go, Jay. The story.
A Christmas Story is number 1. That is my number 1 of all time. And interestingly enough, when the NCAA championships were at Cleveland, the day after the NCAAs, my wife and daughters and I went to the Christmas Story house and museum that they have right outside of Cleveland. Since that was shot, even though it's set in Terre Haute, Indiana, we went and visited that when we were at the NCAAs.
Now, I have to ask, are you the owner of a leg lamp?
Not a full-size leg lamp, but we have a couple miniature. We have an ornament, and we have a little small thing that we have on our entertainment center
Awesome.
that we put out for Christmas. So we have miniature ones, but not a real leg lamp.
Very good. All right.
So you want to hear a funny thing about a Christmas Story?
Upper Iowa. It was at the BV Open, and I've been to the BV Open. A lot of wrestlers there, and kind of every year is a little different as to what kind of teams are going to be there. So Upper Iowa was there this year and really dominated. This Upper Iowa team looks like they're pretty solid this year. They had 5 champions. Cale Bridgewater, who we know from North Lynn, and Owen Denstead, who was victor over his teammate, Cale Nash, who we know from CCA, Clear Creek, Amana, and then that's at 149. And then 174, Lucas Henderson, 184, Braxton Westendorf, and 97, Max Markham. And then they had 3 runner-ups, 157, Klosterman, Preston Klosterman from Alburnett, and Riley Dolan at 165 from West Delaware, and then 184 Griffin Lake. So their next competition is the Midwest Classic, which is a huge tournament. We'll definitely find out where Upper Iowa sits there. That's all they're there. So big in Indianapolis. Co beat BV 47-5. Cornell was at the MSOE Invitational, and they were 8th out of 16 teams. The highest finisher was 3rd at 133, Truman Folkers. Loris wrestled University of Eau Claire, beat them 29-9, and they also beat number 6, Whitewater, 22-15. Nice win there for Loris.
That's a good win.
But they did, yeah. And then they wrestled number 1 Augsburg, and lost 26-11. So not a bad showing there against number one. Loris is coming up. They're moving. UD beat UW Parkside 24-15, and Luther lost to Warburg 43-3. So next up for all of them, Coe's at the North Central Invitation in Naperville, Illinois on Saturday. Cornell is at Loris Thursday, and then they host the Ram Duels where they have Luther, Central, and Wisconsin, Stevens Point. And then UD wrestles at Nebraska on Friday, and Nebraska Wesleyan, and then Saturday at the Prairie. And Luther is at the Cornell Duels, like I mentioned. So anyway, that's the D2 and D3 wrap up there.
All right. Any final thoughts or items to touch on before we close out the college section of this week's podcast?
I think we're good.
All right. I just want to let people know that do have a feature on Dean Peterson, Iowa's 125-pound starter who transferred from Rutgers. Talked to him yesterday at the Iowa Media Availability. He had some interesting things to say from his performance so far this season to kind of being that next 125-pounder that Iowa's had a run of really good 25-pounders over a very long span, and also asked him the difference between New Jersey and Iowa City. Kind of interesting how he mentioned that Iowa Nice really is a thing compared to his home state, and he's still looking for a good slice of pizza here in Eastern Iowa compared to what he's used to in out east. So make sure to watch for that on the Gazette.com and all our content this week involving college wrestling. So for this week, on behalf of Dick Briggs and myself, we'd like to thank you for watching. And as always, Coach Briggs, take us out.
Let's keep wrestling on the move.